It is 5:30 and we are going to begin our board meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance followed by the prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Mott, please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the time that we have to come together. Pray for the safety and health of our entire school community. I pray that you would help us focus to make wise decisions for all of our students. Please bless us as we continue and for the rest of this meeting. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, for roll call, all members are present, including the superintendent, and our attorney is on via Zoom. All right, we'll move on to number 5, approval of minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second. We have a motion by Mrs. Schooneman, a second by Ms. Mott. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We'll move on to number 6, attorney reports. Mr. Hudak?
Good evening. There's nothing to report at this time.
Okay. We'll move on to number 7. Dr. Bennett?
Yes, ma'am. A couple things in this section. First, I'd like to recognize our former board chair, Ms. Karen Chansey. Here's your gavel. We appreciate your service last year. And I believe last year you also served as the FSBA president?
No,
Of the-
secretary.
The small school consortium. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And at a time a little later in tonight's meeting, I want to recognize what happened at this last joint conference with you ladies and our board. I'm so proud of the participation that DeSoto County has ever in all of the activities that are school related. Really pleased with that. At this time, I'd like to have Dr. Amy Bennett, if you would speak to the board a little bit about COPE notes, just to give us a little understanding as to what that will look like.
Sure. Thank you for asking. I think it was Ms. Mercer? No,
Yes.
Ms.
Get up, I can point you to the podium.
Yeah, I was like, who? But was it Ms. Schumann or Ms. Mercer asked about the COPE? Okay, Ms. Mercer, thank you so much for asking about the COPE notes. I'm Dr. Amy Bennett with the Student Services Department. We have a chance to add in the COPE notes, and it is for our mental health and for our students to address mental health needs in our schools. So I only received 234 licenses, and it was free. So they took this out of another pot of money from the Central Florida Behavioral Health Network in Orlando, and I was going to take it. What Central Florida Behavioral Health Network does is they give a lot of money. They gave DeSoto approximately, if you want to look, I have the number, $33,000. Hardy gets money. So here it is. So DeSoto got $33,376. Hardy, for instance, got $36,000, but it can only be used on telehealth. So that limits and kind of ties my hands on telehealth. Okay, we have a lot of telehealth in place right now with that the Student Services provides. So I asked them, they suggested COPE notes. So I researched COPE notes and I sent it to the Finance Department, and Ms. Rosette is here, and they checked it out for me. Well, Michelle in the Finance Department, she scanned the contract, she looked at everything, she checked them out from head to toe. I mean, we did a real serious check on them, what it entailed, and she loved it, and she bought a subscription for herself, for one of her children. So she was my guinea pig, and she went ahead and she bought the subscription, and what it is this, you have to agree. So it comes in through a text, and it is very encouraging messages throughout the day. So she said right when she ordered the subscription, her daughter gets a text that says, have a great day, you are the sunshine.
And
Something.
Dr. Bennett, with that limited amount of subscriptions, how are y'all picking the students?
So I was a little concerned because I had already given them the number of, they only service ages 12 and up. So I had already gotten the number of how many students, I think it was 1,800 or I don't know, whatever, 12, 1,300, whatever the number was. So we're getting this for free. So I said, said, that's fine. What we'll do is I will do a deep dive into the data. And I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna target all of our students in the past year, probably past 3 years, that have been Baker acted. We're also going to target our students that are like high flyers, that we have in the discipline that are serious OSS inappropriate behaviors. And then we will target students over at DSS that are frequent flyers, meaning they, make it out of the alternative school and they are allowed to go back to their home school and then they return. And we do not encourage them to be frequent flyers and return to the alternative setting. So that's what I'm gonna do is the deep dive. It can only be sent to ages 12 and up. What I did was I kind of anticipated some questions you might have, questions that I would have as a mom. Because, I feel kind of concerned that a company's going to send these random encouraging texts, which we all love, but let's see how secure and how private and how safe it is. So I kind of went and I had a conversation with them, met with them to see. It is completely anonymous. You will receive, what we do is we have these, they have these posters that we will place in high flying places such as the media center, the lunchroom, where the guidance counselors are, where children that tend to be frequent flyers that are social workers and our school counselors see. And it will be a QR code, and that's how they will sign up. And we will walk them through it. It is anonymous. There is no name with it, so they have no identification of who the student is. They are not, I am not saying you have a Baker Act, I'm signing you up. I cannot do that. But what I do is we sell it to those kids, and my social workers, my school counselors, if there's some administrator or some teacher that has a great rapport with them, can say, I think you will love this. It will really keep you upbeat during the day. We also, so it's completely anonymous. They do not have any information on the child. They do not have any information named, just that the text is going out. So I had some concerns. What if the child shows suicidal ideations? Those, I'm targeting students that have a history of possibly having that. And their answer to me was, I asked him about that, and he said, the code notes will defer to 988, which is on the website for under student services, if they feel like they need somebody to talk to, and further assistance. They will not send them to 988. They will not take that text number and send it to 988. They will not take that text number and send it to 911. Okay? They do not have a live person. So I asked them, what if the child, returns and hits the button and, wants to talk to the text that they received? There is no live person. They cannot speak to anybody. So I told you how many we had, and I said, well, what if I can't get 234 licenses, those kids to sign up, and I have to, so to speak, Coach Bennett, step back and punt and find some different 234 kids because they didn't want to sign up, and that's their choice. I can't force a child. So he said, yes, you can continue to sign up, and so I said, well, when will these free, I want everybody to understand free, that's not costing the district anything. How long will my subscription run? Until 6/30/2025. Okay, so just the rest of this year. And I can continuously solicit and try to get them to sign up to utilize the 234 for our wonderful community of DeSoto. So when I said the sign up portable, well, I need to have a social worker, guidance counselor, someone, and they said yes, and they will train them and they will show them how to say, here, take your phone, here's the QR code, this is how you sign up, so on and so forth. Okay, I thought maybe that might be a question. Let's see, I thought maybe, okay, are they going to train? You going to teach my people, my social workers, my school counselors, my administrators, what is this? And he said we provide the training to explain to them what it is. Okay, I thought that was a good question. Let's see. I asked if they use their phone school-issued Chromebook. Yes, they can use either one, but the text will not come in on the Chromebook. The text will only come in on the telephone. Okay? That was
Okay,
questions I
quick
asked.
question though, if they don't have their phones
Phones
out
during
at
the
school,
Mhm.
they'll have to get that at a later time, correct?
He said they could use their Chromebook, so there must be something that they're putting their telephone number in when they do, when they use the Chromebook.
Okay.
Okay? And he'll explain all that.
So they won't actually have to be on their phone at the middle school, is what I'm saying. with the
No,
high school.
but if they have their phone, which we do not, it's against the law to have your phone at school. But if, if they do have it, and we have a social worker and it's under the guise, and, the watching and supervision of that school counselor, that would have to be up to the board and the school and the admin if they want to do that. Let's see. Already found out when the okay, and that was all my questions. Suicidal ideations I've already spoken about. So I know Michelle, did she talk to you about that, Rosa?
Yes,
And
and she loves it. Her daughter does.
So is it just a one-way communication then? There's no AI that's talking back or anything? Okay.
And I was very concerned about that. Very good, Ms. Schuman. Great question. No, there is none. It is one-way communication.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you, and thank you for bringing that to the district, Dr. Bennett.
Well, let's hope it works, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it, ma'am?
That's all I have during this time.
Thank you, Dr. Bennett. At this time, we will move on to public presentations on an agenda item. And I have Anthony, is it Duran? Thank you for coming. Will you please state your name and your address for the record?
Yes, Anthony Duran, Tyson Law Group, 9312 North Armenia Avenue, Tampa, Florida, 33612.
Okay, and you will have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. My name is Anthony Duran. I represent Joyce Statmiller. The reason why I'm appearing before you today is I know I'm appearing on the issue of her pending termination, and we're appealing that decision. The reason for that, we appeared at the Safe Driver Committee hearing, and I just wanted to reiterate some of the points I raised there, and also I provided a letter to the superintendent, and also to, I think this email to Gina Stafford as well. Basically, our main position is that this was a case where it wasn't even clear. We watched the video, and it wasn't even clear if there was an accident, and even if there was, it appears that the driver of the other vehicle, the Mercedes, appears to have backed into the school bus. They were kind of at angles, and it appears she backed into the school bus, and the school bus didn't actually drive forward into the vehicle. And then there was pictures of the purported damage to both vehicles. The school bus had a scratch, and it's unclear from photographs of the Mercedes where the damage even occurred. When we thought the damage occurred, it doesn't even line up with where the school bus would be. And unfortunately, nobody took any measurements. Law enforcement didn't do that, and now the district, nobody measured it or the distance between where the scratch was and where reportedly the damage was on the Mercedes, which again wasn't very clear from the photographs. However, my main issue is Ms. Statmiller was assessed 4 points for the citation. However, that citation was dismissed, and the bus driver safety plan, rule, I guess it's rule 8600B. According to that rule, points are not supposed to be assessed until court action is taken. And they were assessed beforehand, but then there was a court date. The citation was dismissed, and I again provided proof of that to the committee as well as in my letter. And the rule further goes on to state later on in 8600B that says the committee shall assign points as convictions occur according to the schedule at the end of this procedure. And one of those things on the schedule was careless driving, and that's what the ticket was for. However, that ticket was dismissed. And so my main point of contention is that those 4 points should have never been assessed. And if they weren't assessed, then I don't believe the committee should have made a recommendation of termination. And so that's essentially my presentation. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else registered to speak? We will now move on to number 9, financial reports.
I'll make a motion to approve financial reports.
Second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Chansey and a second by Dr. Goodman. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. We will now move on to number 10, routine business.
I'd like to make a motion to pull an item for
Okay.
discussion.
Yes, ma'am.
Gotta make sure I get the number right. It's 10.03.
Okay.
And further discuss with the board, the termination of Ms. Stedmiller. I was wondering if, our council could contribute to the conversation as well. And, if he has any, statements on policy, if he's aware of anything that was, violated in the terms of this case.
Yes, I can comment about putting all of the facts out there about the termination. I was at the appeal hearing and the committee did hear the appeal and upheld the position. They indicated that they based their decision on the acts and that all the evidence, the video. I do realize that the ticket was thrown out, but I did point out that the statute that was cited on the ticket was for speeding, although it did say careless driving on it, but the statute itself that they tossed out was for speeding. Speeding wasn't at question. Regarding I don't want to go into every detail of it, but basically the committee heard the appeal, looked at all the evidence, the video evidence, the statements and everything, and upheld their decision in the appeal to move forward with determination.
Can you speak to who's on this committee? Not necessarily names, but, who all?
Is Dr. Stafford, is that correct? I'm not sure if all the titles, I know one is a driver, one is in the transportation department. Is Dr. Stafford in the room? She would know the titles of them.
Yes, one's the dispatcher, one is a driver. It's all of her peers, because they are all of her peers, but they do have different responsibilities. One is a driver, one is a dispatcher, and the other one, I'm sorry, I can't remember offhand what the other one is, but they are all in the transportation department.
Was it a unanimous decision?
Yes.
Anybody else have anything to contribute to that? Okay, that was all. I just wanted to further discuss that matter. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Ms. Schumann. Okay. We call for.
I'll make a motion to approve routine business.
We have a motion by Ms. Schuneman,
Second.
a second by Mrs. Mott. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we will now move on to number 11, new business.
I'll make a motion to approve number 11, new business.
I'll second the motion.
A motion by Dr. Goodman, a second by Mrs. Chansey. Anyone have anything we need to discuss? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we'll now move on to number 12. Dr. Bennett?
Yes, ma'am. Right now, the district PM2 testing window is open, so we're continuing to test. As of last week, the high school graduation rate was up to 72.5% if we graduated tomorrow. In comparison, that's about 17% higher than it was a year ago. So that's really a good spot for us. Real quick, just wanted to let the public know that the district won the FIRMA Best Practices Award. And Gina, you're pretty instrumental in this piece too, and congratulations to you. And if you'll come up here and get this, I'm gonna let you keep it in your office all of the rest of the week, and then we'll put it on the trophy case. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Earlier, we talked about former Chair Chancey and her participation with the School Board Association. Well, this past week, we had the joint conference with superintendents and school board members. And Ms. Mercer, you were an ambassador.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Schuneman, you were on a panel, weren't you? A panel discussion?
Yes.
What did y'all discuss?
We just gave advice and kind of conversation to the new school board.
As a class of 22 member?
Yes.
Okay. And Dr. Goodman, you were elected to the nominating committee, correct? I mean, that's really outstanding representation from our board. Dr. Bennett and Ms. Jones presented to the state superintendents on DSS, and it was just really, really well received. Monroe County wants to come to DeSoto County and go to DSS and visit. St. Johns County, which is probably one of our top 5 districts in the state, wants to look at what's going on at DSS.
Great.
So I'm so proud of what y'all have done with student services and what Ms. Jones does every day with those students. And what is that key word that y'all have talked about?
Restore and restoration.
Restoration, restoring those young lives. And it's happening. Graduation rate, I looked at some of the numbers that were presented. Our DSS graduation rates increased 20%. Referrals are down
14 or something.
78%, we'll say, which is tremendous. So, all of this took place when they visited Lake County and Katy Perry and, not Katy Perry, what's her name? Pearson.
Was she singing for us?
Katy
We'll take
Pearson,
her.
we took the visit up there. It's good for us to get out of DeSoto County.
Yes.
And go visit. And it's also good for us to share when things are happening good in DeSoto County.
Yes.
The people help us, and we want to pass it on, help them. It's like when
Yes.
you're at Burger King and somebody buys your breakfast in front of you. If we can help the one behind us every now and then, we need to do it. So I was really, really pleased with that. And again, ladies and student services and DSS, super proud to be the superintendent of DeSoto County Schools. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Bennett. We'll now move on to number 13, public presentations on a non-agenda item. Since there are none, we will move on to number 14, board member comments. Dr. Goodman, you want to start?
Well, when Dr. Bennett asked Dr. Bennett about her word, I immediately thought about the conference theme, game changers. And as I sat there at this whole conference, I thought, yep, we're all going back to DeSoto County to be game changers for this upcoming year. Totally keyed into making things better for the students. Very proud of our representation. Jamie Schuneman did a fantastic job on that panel. A lot of the newbies were sitting there taking it all in, and of course, watching Kelly as an ambassador was just phenomenal. So again, it's an honor to serve with you all, and I think we're going to continue to get things done. We're rolling, game changing.
Thank you, Dr. Goodman. Ms. Chancey?
I don't have a whole lot, except the conference was great, and we always come back with new and great stuff, so we always love getting to attend and shine for DeSoto County. And I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, since this is our last meeting before the new year. So, wish you all a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Ms. Schuneman?
A couple things. I know that open enrollment for several of the courses at the Family Service Center is in full swing now. So anybody interested in those CNA courses or GED courses, I thought just give a shout out for them. We had a great time at the conference, and in one of our sessions, they were talking about just the setup for the agenda and stuff. And so I wanted to kind of pitch to you guys if maybe before maybe our next meeting, if we could do like a little 10-15 minute workshop session to just kind of discuss maybe the possibility of adding an additional thing in our agenda for maybe a board member discussion section prior to financial reports. So instead of pulling an item to comment on it, we would just comment prior to all items. It was just a suggestion that was given at our conference, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. Is that something anybody would be interested in?
Maybe, sometimes we do
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
comments, not, but we don't always.
Right.
But sometimes we do, yeah.
Yeah. So, would you guys want to do like a workshop on it and I mean, just briefly discuss it and see if we wanted to add it in there, or is it something that you're interested in or not interested in? Just as a way of kind of tightening up the agenda and.
Well, we have a workshop tomorrow morning. So I know that's already decided about something else, but since we're in workshop mode, it wouldn't hurt to, we're already all gathered together, we can.
Are we able to discuss that without like extended notice tomorrow? We can
Ryan?
add it in there.
Yeah, that's fine if it's unextended.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And then Merry Christmas to everybody.
Thank you. Ms. Moss?
So congratulations to the Bennetts on their new little grandson. It's very exciting for you guys. Congratulations to Rosa. I see she's all smiles back there, and her brain's always working and thinking of things, so we're glad about that, and Brent Scribner as well. So some good representation for some spaces that we have for some learning to happen still in our district in those couple of areas. And then I wanted to mention that on Friday when I got back from the conference, I stopped in at some of the schools, but I was able to go into the middle school and happened to be there when a couple of students needed to be escorted to ISS, sadly. But, it turned out to be such a good thing because the person who is over ISS at the middle school has just done such a phenomenal job, and the students there so respected her.
Mrs. Holloman.
Mrs. Holloman. And after stopping in with those students and then leaving and talking with the principal for a little bit and then popping back in again, I had to tell her thank you because, they couldn't say enough good things about her and all that she's done for the students there. So we really appreciate people that sometimes we forget to be, so thankful for, but we are. Soup to nuts across the district. People are working their darndest to make good things happen, and we appreciate them. And that's it.
Absolutely. All right, well, I can just echo all the sentiments. We had a very long week last week in at the conference, learning a lot of new things. So looking forward to our workshop tomorrow. And
At 9, right?
yep, from 9 to 10:30, and then just wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
There
Happy
was
holidays.
one other thing I did
Yes,
wanted to
ma'am.
mention that just popped back in my head. That I'm excited to see the student credit union going down to Nocatee
And
Elementary
Nocatee.
School. That's going to be cool.
Real quick. Rosa, would you stand up real quick and come on in front of the public? Let me formally introduce you as our new finance director. Rosa, thank you so much. She's already been given a baptism under fire. She was on a FEMA call for an hour this morning, and we've got several more scheduled. Thank you, Rosa.
And I can
Good
say
job.
I am excited for my new role as finance director, and I am very thankful for all the support that I have received, and I look forward to this new chapter and opportunity.
You'll do great with it.
Yes.
We've got a lot of
you.
confidence in you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all. Motion to adjourn.
So much.
I have a motion by Mrs. Moss,
Second it.
second by Mrs. Chansey, and we are adjourned.